What's going on? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today we're going to talk to you about Serve Robotics, go over some of the current data points, what's been coming out from the company itself, and why generally it has been lagging. So I'm going to go over all the things that you need to know, but first make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So today it did go down 3.2%. So like I said, just kind of lagging the broader market. And just over the last several trading days, there hasn't been all that much in price action. And there was a couple of things did come out, and so one of which was this. So on November the 18th shows that they are appointing this person as a CSO, or I guess Chief Software and Data Officer. So good stuff. Is this a reason to buy Serve? Not so much. So I think the only problem with Serve right now is you're going to see substantial gains mid 2025 going into 2026. That's what analysts are forecasting, especially based on their last earnings, which was very, very crappy. You're not seeing that like hype coming from the company itself. So this is what I was talking about. So analysts are forecasting good, like 1,500% year-over-year growth. That's kind of midway through 2025, 2,500, 1,400, 800, 400. So this is where you're going to see substantial bumps up in the stock price. Until that does occur, big money's just overlooking it. So on the secondary market above $100,000, regrettably, everything right here is selling. So big money hasn't really bought in since roughly like the 12th or the 11th. Prior to that, or it's just been like a lot of selling, and it's kind of unfortunate, right? Because the broader market is in FOMO like 3.0. So it's kind of crazy how that's all turning out. But like I said, the market is looking for hot stuff right now. One thing that Serve could do, kind of thinking outside the box, they could convert their cash and cash equivalents to Bitcoin. As crazy as that sounds, but there is a lot of companies doing that. Most recently was LQR. Don't really like their fundamental business all that much, but they did put this out, how they're purchasing up to 1 million in Bitcoin, part of their treasury reserve. So I think a lot of companies could piggyback off of the whole crypto hype and do this. And we already see what is happening to ticker MSTR. That one's going to the moon. And that's just because of their essential investment in Bitcoin, right? So I think there is a lot of good opportunity, but from now until then, Serve definitely does need to do something outside the box, such as even this, just to get attention from big money. So that's just my own opinion, of course. One thing that I have brought up in the past is typically with lower volume, and you have a very heavily shorted stock, that's why you also do see a lot of suppression. So today, shorts did return 39,000 shares. 17.57% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 4.36 million shares overall are being shorted. Utilization is 89.13. Cost to borrow average is 73.82. So fairly high stuff, just so you're aware. That is a annual rate, not a daily rate. So again, just some people get that confused, but that'd be kind of crazy on a side note if that was a daily rate. But short score, higher the number, the higher likelihood of a squeeze happening is sitting at 84.22. But moving on from here, there's one thing that did come out that I wanted to share with you, came out yesterday, and that was a new analyst rating. So $16 buy by Northland, Michael, who has a 51% success rating, so not all that great. And in my opinion, I think Northland, they can be bought, if I remember correctly. I think a lot of companies can hire them just to give ratings. What they give for ratings, I think that's up to their own discretion, of course, but I think if I remember correctly, they're one of those entities out there that you can actually pay. So take that with a grain of salt, of course. But still, $16 buy is fairly good. Aside from that, you had one 10 days ago buy $12 rating. So just to put it in perspective, the fact that it's at $8.50 is kind of crazy. So as a consensus of all of them put together, $14.67 is that consensus, and that does represent a 73.4% upside. So let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. On a side note, here's a lot of good key metrics and ratios that just need to be aware of. One thing that I do want to share with you though is looking at the ownership. And just generally, so you had other, aka retail, go down 19.15%. That's on a quarter by quarter basis. And then institutions did go up 100%. And the reason why it went up 100% is because of this right here. So there was a increase in the outstanding share count. So of course, that's how you get that kind of change. So I think institutions getting in is generally good. It's going to eventually add a lot of good support levels. Doesn't mean it's going to go to the moon or anything like that, but typically shorts like to target stocks that are very heavy with retail. So the retail getting out of this stock is maybe kind of a good thing. So let me know your thoughts on that. On a side note, if you're looking for all this good information, so analyst ratings, forecasts, ownership, everything under the sun, then take a look at 𝗖𝗢𝗡𝗘𝗖𝗧. I have a link in the description below for it to be completely free. So just take advantage of that. On a side note, the average duration of a short while I'm on here is 29.77. So typically kind of these numbers, like shorts are fairly confident in holding their position. So hopefully, again, you have the company put out some piece of news that is a surprise to catch them off guard, and maybe you might see a squeeze, but we'll just have to, I guess, wait and see. But no matter what, as I mentioned, when you are investing in this company, you're pretty much investing up until like 2025, 2026, and things like that. But going over here, 1.15 million in calls, 322,000 in puts. So kind of the volume is getting up there with options. So that's kind of a good thing. But 54% of all the options being done today were bearish. Of the call options that were purchased, you see a consensus for it to be kind of all over the place around that 850. That seems to be the most optimistic for the most part. And then looking at puts, you see a consensus for it to be kind of sub $8. You abnormally see 2,000 was purchased at that $6 strike price for June. So some entities out there are seeing more downside, but let me know your thoughts on that. No matter what though, when it comes down to options, it is just merely a sentiment. It does not move the stock price whatsoever. What does move the stock price is big money getting in. So I think just generally the company needs to do something, whether they think outside the box and kind of move towards and ride the crypto hype, or they just put out more and more updates. But based on their last earnings, I don't think anything is going to be coming out anytime soon. So something, it is what it is. But right now with it at $8.46, it is trading between this R1 and the pivot. So $8.39 is going to be that strong support. Kind of bounced off of that general area today near the tail end, but $9 is going to be that next strong resistance slash target, and it as well kind of did bounce off of that general area for the high. So it is just trading within this range, but in comparison to a lot of other growth stocks, SERV is lagging. So a lot of stocks right now are trading between this R3 and this R2, showing a lot more signs of breaking out, and then some are trading between this R2 and this R1. So I think just Wall Street is categorizing SERV as just broken. Which is unfortunate, but based on this right here, you do see number of retail investors kind of getting in. So they've been buying the dip ever since it looks like November the 15th. Nothing substantial though. And it did have a lot of good hype. So I was doing some videos near the tail end of October saying that this is showing a lot of signs that it wanted to break out, but big money just right quick stopped buying. Short started to really just do what they do, try to manipulate the stock price down. And then, of course, they had their earnings, which was horrific. All that in combination just kind of killed any and all momentum. And as of right now, it is trading below a lot of the key points that I like to look at. So the 50, 100, and 200-day moving average. So it is lower percentile as well. And stochastic RSI right now is roughly at 22. So it is considered very oversold. So like I said, a good piece of news is to come out. Then you could see maybe a rush of value investors, but until that comes, like this isn't going to do it. What news, this news that came on the 18th, like that's good, but it's no reason to buy. It's kind of just fluff. What you really want is kind of some news that, such as this on November the 7th, that's relatively good news in my opinion, but still, like company, like you need to be strategic with your PRs as well. You can't just be putting out fluff all the time. It needs to be substantial. And so yeah, sometimes companies just don't have anything. So let me know your thoughts on Serve. Are you a buyer? Are you a seller? What's your overall thoughts on Serve, and where do you see things going? So in my opinion, assuming the positive momentum in the market does continue, I think it'll at least add some stability to the stock price, but you won't see any crazy gains unless the company puts out something, whether it be like operational or maybe moving towards that crypto. That's kind of, again, thinking outside the box, but you're not going to be seeing those substantial gains, in my opinion. So let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And then one final thing I just wanted to share with you, I did launch a Patreon where I'm giving buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, and I have been giving some absolute bangers, home runs. So pop over there, take a look, and let me know your thoughts on that. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.